Hey there, and welcome to this episode of Joy Sightings, number 45. Today again I'll read 3 parables by Safed the Sage, and they are Parable of the Shore Dinner, Heaven and the Steamboat, and Hollyhocks I Transplanted. In Parable of the Shore Dinner, Safed and Keturah imagine themselves to be in summer weather when in fact they are experiencing winter-like conditions. Also, the yellow gal is mentioned, who was mentioned in edition number 43, I believe, of Joy Sightings. Parable of the Shore Dinner. The winter went out like a lamb, but the spring came in like a lion. And there came a day that blustered, and the night was furious. And we went to a restaurant for dinner, for the Ethiopian maiden had married the man who chose her instead of the yellow gal. And I said to Keturah, "Let us not flee from the cold. For next summer that is what we shall be seeking. Yea, we will then rejoice whenever we shiver. For this is the great folly of mankind, that in winter they are happy when they swelter, and in summer they are thankful when they freeze. Now we will reverse the process. It is a fine large night. Let us go down to the beach and have a shore dinner. Behold, this is Friday." Now we came to the restaurant, and we looked over the bill of fare, and I spoke to the waitress, and I said, "Bring unto us clam chowder." And we ate. And as we ate, we said, "This is the real thing. Behold how the sunlight doth play across the waters of Narragansett Bay." And I said unto the waitress, "Bring unto us planked whitefish." And she brought in a whitefish on a plank with mashed potatoes all around it, ringwise. And as we ate it, I said, "Beautiful is the island of Mackinac. Here blow the winds from 3 lakes, and tonight I feel no oppressive heat. How lovely it is to escape hither and have a good cool time." And I said unto the waitress, "Bring unto us now 2 plates of ice cream." And I said, "How cool it is beside the little lake where we go in summer, and how good is the sound of the maul as our sons pound the ice. Yea, and how delicious is the cream when it's frozen." And I said unto the waitress, "Bring unto us 2 small cups of coffee." And I said, "I will drink it without sugar or cream, for these cost extra in Venice." And now imagining himself there, yea, and here at the Lido, after a dip in the waters of the Adriatic, how lovely it is to sit on the great wide veranda and drink a thimbleful of good black coffee that picketh one up after a plunge. Still speaking imaginatively. And as we walked home, I said, "That is a great old breeze that is sweeping in from the ocean across the Isles of Shoals where now we are." And so we came to our house, and Keturah said, "Where do we go from here?" And I said, "We go to the best place of all. For the night without is black and stormy, and I have no committee meeting, and the telephone wire is broken. Where is that interesting book which thou didst begin to read aloud to me last summer, when I lay on the pine needles with my head in thy lap?" And she read to me, and I said, "This has been a fine summer evening." And Keturah said so too. Heaven and the Steamboat. We sought rest, I and Keturah, and we went south to meet the spring and bring it back with us. And we eschewed railroads, but sailed upon a steamboat. For this is a country of majestic rivers, and few there be that know it. And the purser of the steamboat spake unto me, saying, Behold, here are 64 staterooms. Take thou thy choice. And he gave unto us 2 staterooms in the most desirable part of the ship, and the rooms opened together so that we had each of us a lower berth. And I slept at night in the lower berth, and by day I lay in the upper berth when I desired, and did read. And at other times we sat on deck, I and Keturah, and beheld a wondrous moving picture show. And there were only 2 other first-class passengers, and they were good people. And the steward said, Behold, I have a rattling good cook, yea, and a pastry cook also, and we must keep them busy. Whatsoever thine heart desireth, that they will cook. And the bathroom man said, When thou desireth to bathe, behold, the tub shall be clean, and there will be no lack of hot water or of towels. And the barber and the porter and the boot-black spake in like manner. And Aunt Ellen, who keepeth the linen, and who was born a slave, and hath been on the river 40 years, she also gave us everything in sight. And the captain took me unto his cabin, and showed me many things about the steamboat. And I and Keturah, we owned the boat, and the shore, and the sky. Now at this same time certain of our friends were fleeing from the cold winds of early spring, and were paying high prices in popular southern hotels, where the limit in prices is the sky, and they traveled by rail, where the throng was so great that it was difficult to get a lower berth. And I spake unto Keturah, and said, This world has few people as sensible as thee and me. I am glad I married so sensible a woman, and thou so wise a man. And I said, It is lucky that the way to heaven is not reserved for the wise, but that wayfaring men, though fools, may not err therein, for there are few others traveling. I'll say that again in easier-to-understand English. It is lucky that the way to heaven is not reserved just for wise people, so that even if some traveler is a fool, he may successfully enter, for there are few others traveling toward heaven. For the way of the sinner is expensive and disappointing, and I sometimes fear that we shall have more room than we need in heaven. Hollyhocks I transplanted. The winter was long and cold, and the spring came timidly. Many were sick of the people whom I loved, and some of them died. And we took Easter lilies from the house of God and laid them upon the new graves of those who were dear to us. And I went often to the place appointed for the dead, and beside every grave did I speak words of comfort, and in every grave did I bury a part of mine own heart. And I was weary and sad, and I said, Wherefore doth God take men away in the midst of their years? Why hath life so many sorrows? And it was the first spring in our new house, and I went to the house where formerly we did live, and I said unto the people that dwell there, Give me, I pray, of the hollyhocks that I have planted here, for there be enough for me and for you. And they said, Take what thou wilt, are they not thine own? And for those thou dost leave, we are grateful. So I digged among the hollyhocks where they were thick, and took up those that were too crowded. And I carried them carefully, and brought them to the new house that is hard by the house of God. But the hollyhocks didn't understand what I did. And they complained, and I listened to them, and they answered me, saying, Behold, thou didst plant us here, and we have grown and done well. Wherefore dost thou remove us? Do we not make this place beautiful, so that we are, instead of weeds, in this spot? And behold our roots, how thou dost tear them, and lay them bare, and do them violence. Why are thy ways unequal? And wherefore dost thou destroy the hollyhocks of thine own planting? But the hollyhocks knew not that I had a place prepared for them, neither did they understand that they were to blossom more abundantly in my garden hard by the house of God.